the name's Danny. Let me tell you about myself. I'm always tired, judgmental, and I only research stuff at a surface level. That said, let's talk about fish, a topic near and dear to your heart. Well, mostly one kind of fish, the species of bass, otherwise known as perciforms. I think that's how you pronounce it. These fish are bony and make up a large chunk of fish in the sea, roughly 41% give or take. These fellows are pretty popular game fish in America. You know, the whole catch and relief thing. But hey, if you want to chow down on them, that's cool too. Bass fish can be enjoyed in a variety of ways. Let's take a look at a few. Just a heads up, I am no expert in the field of fish. This is all for the purpose of entertainment. Alright? Aye. Let's start at the start of the start. Bass fishing originated in the United States. Yup, fishing for bass is as American as apple pie and capitalism. Of course, it originated in the 19th century, so there was no real way of sharing fish tips unless you sent them via railroad or were a sailor. The rich folk opted to fish for fun, game fish, but they usually went for salmon and trout. Some of the working men, however, were subsistence fishers. They weren't playing catch and release, they were playing catch and reheat that pot, cause we caught ourselves some dinner. They mostly caught bass using pole rods, not fly rods. That's what the rich man used. I think they're different. I mean, just going by some of these pictures, I'd say so. I mean, look at that guy. I've never worn a top hat fishing. Too high class. Now, this guy here, way more normal looking. One of us, a pole user, and they loved catching bass. One of the more popular types of bass, in America anyway, is the striped bass. You can find this fella in the Atlantic coast. But it's been introduced into many inland recreational fisheries too. This little fishy got the honor of being the state fish to a whole bunch of states. We're talking Rhode Island, New York, South Carolina, Maryland, and so on. People love this fella, and why wouldn't they? The striped bass is delicious. It's flaky, got some texture, and is only mildly fishy, making it a good gateway fish if your palate isn't ready for, the full fish experience. That's logical, right? Usual way people eat this innocent creature is in fillets. Very easy, anyone can debone a dumb fish. I can debone myself. Watch. See? Anywho, they come in steaks, chunks, and the whole thing. You name it. Best part, you can buy this fish all year round. If your store sells it, go on. Go to the store right now and get some. Or a mask, though. Another kind of bass that we catch and kill for our pleasure is known as the Japanese sea bass, which can also be called Suzuki, or Charlie, call it whatever, it's a fish, it doesn't care. It can be found in the western Pacific all the way to the South China Sea. See? Charlie doesn't eat that much in the first 4 days of its life because it's a gross little larva, but it soon grows up and gets some self respect and starts eating real food like anchovies and shrimp. Unfortunately, they are also targets for other fish. To dodge this circle of life, they go hide in nursery seas, lakes, bays, and rivers. A nursery, if you're unaware, means that there is a high concentration of prey with a low concentration of predators. Although they didn't count humans into that risk factor, they'll catch them anywhere. You can only ensure safety for so long. Once Charlie is old enough, they'll leave the nursery and go back into the ruthlessness of the world, never to be seen again. There is a fish, however, that can handle the brutality of the world, and that fish's name is the largemouth bass. This fella is so ready for the world that it will invade your native fish's land and run them out, get them misplaced, or in some cases, like the Adlion grebe, cause extinction. Really, these fish are such a predatory menace, you'd actually be doing a service to the world by catching them and cooking them up, and boy howdy do they have a pretty strong fishy taste. Bizarrely, there is a rule of thumb to let these little monsters go after you catch them. Honestly, I can't really blame them for doing that. We live in a brave new world where we like the villains of movies, so why not extend that love to this predator? These fellows do have a home, of course, native to both Canada, North America, and northern Mexico. Like any good supervillain, it has many aliases, such as Widemouth Bass, Big Mouth Bass, Potter's Fish, Florida Bass, and LMB. So there we have it. All kinds of crazy, yummy, sneaky, and predatory kinds of bass. From honest to vicious in variety, there is one I didn't mention yet that will blow all of these out of the water. Billy Big Mouth Bass. Not only is this fish already caught and won't smell horrible after a week, but it will also sing to you in the voice of Al Green and Bobby McFerrin. I mean, what more reason do you need? You want a bass, go with Billy. In conclusion, gather a mass and listen to Billy Bass, and do yourself a favor and give the rest a pass. Join me next time when I talk about something a bit more topical. Until next time, I'm Danny Dampige.